Hi, welcome to the Shed. Today we are going to talk about the 4 different rhythmic roles that chordal instruments can play. So the first one is the pad. Now a pad is a longer duration of a rhythm, and normally it starts at the beginning of the measure. It can last the whole measure or it can just be part of the measure, but it starts normally with the kick. So here is a nice pad. I'm playing right on beat 1. I'm holding it out the whole measure. Now I can have it stop with the snare on beat 4, and it adds a little extra rhythmic fun there. But normally, a pad just holds it out. Now, the opposite of a pad is a punch. A punch is a rhythm with short duration. So one instrument can play pads and punches, or you can split it between multiple instruments. So here is one instrument playing pads and punches. Hear that punch? Now the punch can happen with the snare. It can happen with the kick. So we have pads and punches. And you can have a punch at the beginning of the measure or at the end of the measure. So now I'm gonna add in some just regular pads here. And I'm gonna put the punch only on beats 2 and 4. So here's what my punch sounds like. I'm not gonna use the full chord voicing. You don't have to use the whole chord. I'm just using the outer voices right now. I'm putting it on 2 and 4, and this is like what a guitar player would do. I add a little bit of reverb for effect. Now, the next role is the ostinato. Now, an ostinato is a rhythmic pattern that repeats, and normally ostinato parts are in the background of the whole sonic landscape. So I have just a glockenspiel patch here, and I'm gonna play just this like 8th note syncopated thing, and I'm just gonna keep it going. Now, the ostinato pattern can just be whatever subdivision your hi-hat's on, so it could just be playing 8th notes, it can be playing 16th notes, or it can play some variation of a rhythm within that subdivision. So I'm gonna play like a syncopated 8th note thing, and it's just gonna repeat. And I'm using more of the lowest 2 voices of my chord. Alright, that brings us to our last type of rhythm that the chordal instruments play, and that's the riff. Now, a riff is a combination of the chord part, and it's also a combination of a melody. So we're using melodic rhythm here, and the 3 elements of melodic rhythm are repetition, syncopation, and space. Some riffs are just melodies. Some riffs don't have 2 notes playing at the same time. Some riffs are only chords. So I'm going to play a combination of chords and single notes, and I'm going to just make sure that I follow so I have some repetition in there. There's syncopation, and there is some space. Little different. Now, if you notice, all these are happening at the same time, but not every song has to have every different role occurring at the same time. But if you do, make sure that you vary the volume between the instruments, the range between the instruments, and the kind of instrument that you're using. I'm not all using piano for these 4 different roles, and they're not stepping on each other in their sonic space. Also, make sure that you vary the timbre of or the texture of the chord. You don't want full chords on all of these parts. For some of the parts I only used 2 notes. For some of the parts I only used 1 note. And those are the 4 different roles that the chordal instruments play in pop music.